just got back from a little shop around town, and I went mainly to get £1 coins for my laundry, but I found these glasses in promotion, and aren't they gorgeous? I have been completely obsessed with Peaky Blinders lately, and if you've never watched it, the show is basically a massive advertising for drinking whiskey and smoking, and I don't do either of those things, but I do drink a lot of water. And so I got this like a couple of weeks ago, and yes, you might argue that it's a bit ridiculous to drink water from a whiskey bottle, but I kind of think it's fancy, and I was in need of some glasses to compose the whole thing, so yes, it's nice. I'm telling you, it tastes 10 times better. I think for the majority of my studying and working life, I always had a really hard time to get proper rest. And I mean proper rest. I think I have to make that distinction because it's really easy to think that rest is just lying around, scrolling on something and just doing nothing. And I feel like most of the time that doesn't provide me any sort of rest at all. Don't get me wrong, if what recharges you is laying around and having a nap and that sort of stuff, that's absolutely fine. We all work differently. But what I mean is, at least for me, when I do lay, when I'm tired, I feel mentally exhausted, and I lay and I go scroll on some sort of social media, I don't really feel rested at all. It is my expert student opinion that you cannot do proper work if you are not well rested. It's the same thing as a gym. If I'm going to failure on every single set, every single day, and I don't at least take 1 day off, maybe 2 days off, there's no way I'm pushing myself hard or that I'm achieving my best lifts. I feel like my brain works exactly the same way. So my theme lately has been figuring out what recharges me to make sure I'm a happy, productive human being. I think the major thing is just getting a good night of sleep. I really do feel the difference when I have a quality 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep during my days. I'm just so much more productive and so much happier. For the last few nights, I've been doing my best to improve my sleep hygiene. I even started stretching before bed, and it's been proving amazing. I've been sleeping like a baby, and I'm very, very happy about it. I've also been trying my best to minimize my non-intentional moments. What's a non-intentional moment? You know when you're doing stuff on autopilot and you just turn your brain off and something appears done, or you're doing something you don't really know why? Those are what I'm trying to minimize. If I'm doing the dishes on autopilot, I don't really mind. That's fine. What I do mind is when I'm constantly checking my phone when I don't need to. I feel like I lose 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 10 minutes there, maybe choosing a song when I really don't need to. I either don't need to listen to anything at that point, or I can just put something that I know I'm going to enjoy. So I'm trying to be intentional of what my actions are. Now, this next point might also seem a bit counterintuitive, but one thing I've been finding that just gives me more energy to the day is focusing on fulfilling hobbies. Obviously, my time is a bit scarce. I have my PhD to do. I have 4 papers to review this month from other authors. Part of me kind of really likes reviewing papers. You know, I feel important that the journal and conferences have asked me to review a paper, but on the other hand, it's so much work. Anyway, even though that in hobbies you're actively doing something and might be seen as, tiresome, I feel like the satisfaction that it gives me for me to achieve a new skill or to have a little bit of a social interaction while doing something I enjoy, it far outweighs the physical tiresome that it may give me. And I'm telling you all of this because today I actually want to try out a new hobby. You see, I've never been too much of an artistic guy. I've always been more dedicated to the sciences than the arts. But part of me really wants to learn how to draw. Even if it's just tiny little doodles here and there, I would just like to know how to do some basic stuff. Now, if there is one aspect that is very lucky to my life, is the people that I have in it. I have a friend of mine who's an artist, and he made a very simple, very basic tutorial for me, just drawing some lines on my iPad, and I think I'm gonna do that today while I wait on my laundry. I got some people asking me for a bit more detail about what I work in, what my research is, and what in concrete I'm working for my next paper. Obviously, I can't talk much in depth about it because it's technically confidential. I always feel really cool saying that my work is confidential. Although that sounds very fancy and it's really not. My research is in visual place recognition, which is the task of recognizing a place using only image information. So for example, you come into your room, you take a photo, and from that photo alone, you need to recognize, yes, this is my room. For us humans, this is very, very trivial and easy, but for robots, this is actually quite complicated. Imagine your robot entered the room for the first time in the morning, so it was nice and bright, but then the next time it comes in, it's actually evening, so it's now very dark. It's not just light either, like imagine that you moved some stuff around and now your lamps are not where they were. This makes it so that comparing pixels is not good enough because things change in an environment. This is a really, really broad field, and another point of my research is making sure that these VPR algorithms that I design are lightweight enough and can run on small robots. Not every single robot is going to be big, or you want to spend a lot of money on really powerful hardware. What I'm working on at the moment is actually an expansion of a paper that got accepted into a workshop some months ago. Basically, I'm working with this bio-inspired algorithm. It's based on the odor processing abilities of the fruit fly, actually. Can I just say, I love that I get to work with somewhat biology, somewhat computer science. I find both fields incredibly fascinating, and being able to take a bit from here and there is just a dream come true. The motivation to take stuff from biology is that these animals are tiny and yet they navigate their environment super well, they recognize everything that they need to recognize, and we have a lot to learn from them. Now in this paper, since these models are so fast and compact, we can use a bunch of them in conjunction and probably get a better result while leaving the overall system still really, really fast and suited for tiny robots. That's the basic idea, and for now I can't give you more details on how I'm utilizing every single one of these models, but hopefully that gives you a better perspective of what I'm coding back there. But yeah, I hope that wasn't too much of a nerd out, and if you are interested in hearing about what I do in my research, by all means just let me know in the comments and I'm more than happy to share. During this code block I found some bugs. Some of them I managed to fix, but others I'm still trying to figure out. For some reason I'm not getting the same results that I did last time I worked on this project, so I need to go find what I'm doing wrong. You know, there's a bright side to having bugs in your code when it comes to research, because if you're not getting the results that you want and you find a bug, that means that it might not be your method that is wrong, just that it's poorly implemented. Whenever you find an error, that's always an opportunity to improve your results, and that's exciting.